Well, good afternoon. Welcome to another installment of our TNT Mission, Grace, and Action webinar series. My name is Missy. I'm here with Chris, Awana's Director of Children's Ministries. We are so glad that you guys have tuned in today, or if you are watching post, we are glad that you are watching this webinar. Today, Chris will be giving us an overview of the great new tool included with every new TNT Leader Guide, the TNT Leader Resource Bundle. It's available as a digital download and included in the pages of your leader guide. We want to honor your time, so the webinar will be about 40 minutes long, so please ask your questions as they occur to you if you're joining us live. To do so, simply move your cursor within your window and click on that little Q&A tab in the left-hand corner. I will be reading those questions and asking. We'll have a Q&A question-answer segment at the end of this webinar, and we'll ask Chris directly those questions as they occur to you. All right. Again, thank you so much for coming. Without any further delay, here's Chris.
Hey, everybody. Thank you for taking time out of your schedule to be with us and to watch this webinar. We're going to spend some time. Oh, well, first of all, before we get to that, it's been a while since we did one of these. Just thank you for those of you who have been watching and sharing these webinars. Just so that you know, we've had a lot of good feedback from them. A lot of people have found them useful and helpful. So I encourage you that if you have leaders or other Awana ministry directors or TNT directors in your area that could benefit from watching these webinars, by all means, please share them. People have really benefited from them, and they've just been fun to do. In this installment of the webinar series, we're going to walk through our resource bundle. I'm going to do kind of a step-by-step walkthrough. The resource bundle is really a new. It's a new concept. It's a new aspect of the total curriculum line for an Awana curriculum product. And so what I'm just going to do is walk you through some of the features. How do I get to the website? Just some helpful things that you need to know moving forward, as this is a particular aspect of the curriculum that we are continuing to develop. Some parts and pieces of it are currently being built in progress, but I'll walk you through some of the important information that you need to know along the way. And then as we wrap up toward the end, we'll have some time for you to ask some questions. But to get us moving, I'm going to go ahead and share my screen with you. And right now, you should be looking at the really, it's the main page for Awana.org for the TNT resource bundle. How do you get there? There is a link in the large group teaching guide. With this link, we are asking that we don't post this necessarily in multiple spaces, but the link is in the large group teaching guide. It's awana.org/TT resource bundle. And when you type in that link, you end up at this page, which is going to house all of the resource bundle elements that you're going to use. Why did we do this? That's a great question. Why did we put all this up here? In the development of the large group teaching guide, if we included everything that was produced for the large group teaching guide that you actually have in your hands, and included all the resources that we are housing digitally on this site, most likely your large group teaching guide would have ended up being close to maybe like 700 or 800 pages. I mean, it would have been a brick sitting on your counter. We wanted to take some of that heft out of the large group teaching guide, give you essentially what you need in the large group teaching guide, and then place all those extra resources here digitally. So as you're crafting your large group teaching experiences, I mean, you could come here and pick and choose what you need, and be able to select different options and different activities that you feel is best. So that's kind of the thought, some of the rhyme and reason behind the choices that we made for the large group resource bundle. So I've typed in the address. I come here. One thing that I do want to mention before we move forward is that right now, if you type in the link, it's going to land you on this page. However, in the weeks to come, we are going to be putting a login wall on this page. Right now, it does not have one on it, but I just put this out there in case some of you're going to jump online, you're going to type in this link, and then, oh, wait a minute, it's going to ask me to create an account, one of the reasons why we wanted to do this is because we want to know if this is being a helpful resource. So by creating an account, you're allowing us to listen to some information that you can send us to see how many people are downloading the different various aspects of the resource bundle. All that data and all that feedback is extremely important as we continue to build curriculum, to build resources to help serve you as best as we can. So I just want to put that out there for your information. In the next couple of weeks, you come to this page, it asks you for a login. Just very, very easily, very quickly, you can create an account and then get back to this page. But that's going to be something that's going to be coming up in the next couple of weeks. But right now, it doesn't have it. You just land on this page. And right here, you're at the main section of the large group guide resources. You'll see that in a few cases, right now, the ESV version of our resource bundle is live and ready to go. We are working on getting the various other versions, King James, New King James, NIV up there. There already are some components live up there. We and our development team are feverishly working to make sure we can get all the remaining components up live and ready as quickly as possible. But for our purposes for today and for this webinar, if you want to review, there are minimal changes in terms of version-specific elements, but largely the structure, the format, the options themselves are going to remain fairly similar across all versions. So even though if you want to look at ESV and you don't use the ESV translation, you can still download what we have posted and be able to review it in order to prep and prepare for your large group teaching. Include some features up here for you. You'll see that right now the ESV, that's lit up. If I were to click on that, I would be able to download the entire resource bundle, all the files in a zip file and that would download into your download file. You can save it to your desktop. You can save it really wherever you want. And when all the other full, complete versions are live and done, their particular bar here will light up and they will be ready to go. But right now, to download the entire one, the only one that we have live and ready in its entirety is ESV. So if I scroll down here, you'll notice here that right here, where it says download unit but download by unit and lesson, then I'm able to do that as well. So up here at the top, I can download the whole thing all at once, bada bing, bada boom. I never need to come back to the site. Or I can scroll down here at the bottom and I can pick my particular version, and what it'll do is it'll go ahead and select those particular resources based on the version that I select. So for here I selected ESV. Let's go ahead and talk about just the different options of what's included in the resource bundle. Here we have lesson resources. Go ahead and see that they include all 4 units and the start zone, so it's everything that you need here in terms of large group teaching. In the large group teaching resource bundle, all those lesson resources are here. If I click on start zone, you'll notice that it includes 2 segments of files, one for the gospel lesson, the other one for the Bible lesson. There's links to click on the teaching resources, the PowerPoint slides, audio. I'm going to touch on audio in just a bit and walk you through some information on that. Again, a download all button. It'll download everything for you. You'll be ready to go to teach those particular units. Want to go ahead and show you the Unit 1, the God Is. Again, a download unit button here at the top if I want the whole thing. If I want to go lesson by lesson, I can do that by downloading all the components. But let's go ahead and look at God is Creator, lesson 1.1. And some of the teaching resources. So if I click on teaching resources here, what it'll actually do is it'll open in a new tab on my screen. These are the Grace in Action God Is Unit teaching resources. This is a PDF file that includes a lot of options, because one of the things that we wanted to do in building the large group teaching resource is give you options based on different amounts of time, and just even different large group teaching options in and of themselves. And so what you'll have here in this particular PDF is right here you'll see the resource bundle activity instructions. So for this particular lesson opener, You got 5 minutes. It walks you through what you need, all the different steps to be able to do it, very scripted. We also gave you some space over here on the side to write some notes. Maybe you want to change it up, do things differently. And by all means, you have the flexibility to be able to do that because, again, you know your kids best. Maybe they need a 5-minute lesson opener, and this is gonna be just great, right up their alley. And we've walked you through what you need, and then also the different steps in order to execute it. As we go down the lesson resource bundle, remember we said we wanted to include some options here. So for this particular one, God's Creator, in terms of the main lesson, we gave you, here 10 minutes. Option 1 is creation charades. So we gave you what you need. You'll need a Bible, creation charade slips, which we included. Those are a few pages further down. We talked to you about some lesson prep, and again, step-by-step instructions on how to do this. So, for instance, this is just a great resource. If you've been a large group teacher for a very long time, these are a lot of great tips and activities to maybe change up your repertoire a bit. But also at the same time, maybe this is like the first. Maybe you were just hanging out in the hallway, and your T&T director came up to you and said, "Hey, I want you to lead large group teaching time," and you're like, "Oh, excuse me? I'm supposed to do what?" I've never done that before in my life. We wanted to make this step-by-step, easy instructions for you to follow, so that when you get up there and you're opening your main lesson or a lesson starter, there we wanted to make sure that you had everything that you need to be able to do that. So again, extends onto the other page. Again, more spaces for notes. We wanted to make enough space on here because we do want you, and I would just encourage every single T&T group, especially in large group teaching time, for your large group teachers out there, put your own flair on this stuff. We've done our best to put together like a best foot forward in terms of the resource bundle activities, but by all means, this is not a straitjacket. If you want to change something up or modify or tweak what we've made here because you think it's going to serve your kids best, by all means, go ahead and do that. So remember, it said in the supply list that you would need some creation charades. We're going to play creation charades, and you need some charade cards. Here, what we've done is we've went ahead and made some charade cards for you that have the particular aspect of what they're going to be putting on a charade for, and then just a specific instruction. So here, for this one, it says light, act out light by shining a flashlight or turning a light on and off, and the kids are going to have to guess those. Couple things about what we've included in here. These are color, so if, hey, you want to do things live in color, go right ahead. You can print them off in color, awesome. If you even wanted to print out a set and continue to use that or share it amongst different large group teaching groups, feel free to do that as well. However, I do remember that when I was a children's pastor, like nothing broke my budget more than printer ink. So what we did also is make them grayscale for you as well, so that you can save on all the different colors of ink that you need to buy. So you can print them off in grayscale. This could save you, some dollars in your budget, but also makes reproducing the different aspects a little bit easier in that regard. So as you go through the different teaching resource PDFs, you're going to see that for different resources that we put into them, there's going to be a color option and a grayscale option for you to pick and choose from at your own leisure. So again, more charade options here. We also here gave you a second option. So remember that first opener, 5 minutes, giving you a time frame on that, but then giving you, again, that second option. So we're going to do a creation painting. What you'll need is a painting to display something that God created. Very simple, something that you can pick up. In this case, even at a thrift store, you could go and find some type of a painting, or if not a painting, a poster, a picture, something to display something that God created. And that's so we gave you a supply list, and then just different steps and walk you through the different aspects of what you need to do to execute that particular opener. And then we also created a second main lesson teaching. Again, 10 minutes here is in terms of the time frame. We gave in every single one of these lesson resources, we wanted to build in options for you, give you specific time frames, but it's going to follow a similar structure throughout. Really what you see as you go from each lesson resource file from the next, not too much is going to change, if anything at all, in terms of the structure. So, and again, we in terms of this particular game, we created clue cards, again with the color, and then also with the grayscale as well here at the end. So a couple other things, just heading back to the main screen that we were at. So again, we're at Unit 1. I just showed you the teaching resources, so that's what I was just showing you and unpacking, was that particular PDF. Not all PDFs are necessarily the same in terms of their content. For that particular one, it had some games to play. For others, we included some pictures, some maps, different elements that we thought would be most helpful to you as you were to teach a large group. So there's different things in there. I would encourage you to get into this. Download all of them, play with them, open them up, see what's in there. These are just filling up your large group teaching toolbox so that you have way more than enough material to feel good about teaching large group time, and it gives you different options to change it up. So that way, I mean, one of the most brutal things is to invite kids into a room and have them sit in their chairs for, I don't know, anywhere from 30 to 45 minutes and talk at them. We've included some things here so you can get them up, get them moving. Help them burn out some of that energy by participating in an opener or the different aspects in the main lessons that we've created. We wanted to make these as interactive as possible, so that way they aren't zoning out and going off into La La Land, or who knows what else they're doing. But we wanted to give you some options here. So I encourage your large group teachers, sit down, look at them, see what works best for you. The second aspect that you're going to see here is underneath the teaching resources, we included with every single lesson a PowerPoint slide deck. It looks a little bit like this. So actually it looks exactly like that. It comes with a title slide. Title slide matches the lesson content. So you're going to find that similar. We included a main idea. So that main idea that you're going to find in the large group teaching guide, in the small group guide, and in the handbook, it's going to be a similar main idea throughout. And then we included, obviously, a memory verse slide. We included a slide talking about the introduction. So here, for this particular lesson, it's going to say share what you wrote about or drew in the start here. So again, this is something that could be edited by the large group teacher, but it's at your disposal to do with what you'd like. We also included some introduction topics to get your introduction started. So what reason did you have for making your creation? Who got to decide what you did with your creation? These are questions that come straight out of our teaching material, and we just wanted to make a PowerPoint slide deck so that you had some easy transitions, as you're teaching, that you didn't need to build a PowerPoint deck, and that it also matched the look and feel of the books themselves. Again, for the main lesson, we wanted to put in all the points and also have corresponding scripture in there that was already pre-made, so that you could really make this as plug and play as possible. And like I said, we created one of these decks for every single lesson. It's at your disposal to use however you'd like. Here, as you'll see, that for this particular passage, we included Genesis 1 through 31. That's a significant amount of scripture. You might not want to do that. You don't have to do that. If you just want to share just a few aspects of this, or a little bit at a time, you can feel free to, because once you download this deck to your computer, you can edit the slides however you'd like. But we wanted to give you everything and then allow you, the large group teacher, the ability to customize this and make it so that you feel good about whatever you're getting up and teaching to this particular group, to your particular group of kids. Again, we more scripture, all the particular points of the large group teaching lesson are in here. We also included, in terms of just the application points, some follow-up questions in here. We also included the sum it up that you're going to find in a large group teaching guide. So all the information here in the PowerPoint deck is exactly what you're going to find in the large group teaching guide itself. And then, so we included the sum it up points feel free to use those. And at the very end, we included a slide that you can customize. If you want to add a video, you could go ahead and do that and embed it and put it into your PowerPoint presentation. This is really totally up to you to how you wanted to do, but we wanted to make sure that we gave you a deck of slides that match the look and feel, and then also have the information in there as well. If you want to get really nitty-gritty with it, you can go ahead and tweak with different fonts, whatever you want to do to put your own look and feel on it as well. But that's the PowerPoint slide decks. So again, a little bit of review, recap. So we talked about the large group teaching resources, where those are housed. In this particular drop-down menu, again, if I go to the Bible unit, all those lessons will eventually be there. For instance, if I click on KJV right now, you'll see that we do have in KJV the Unit 1 lessons. The rest of them are going to be uploaded again as soon as possible. Like I said, the structure itself is not going to change. So in order to get prepped and prepared for what you're going to find in those teaching resources, you have more than enough to start working through Unit 1, and definitely by the time you're done with Unit 1, you're going to have plenty of time, and also we'll have all the remaining resources posted for you as well. But it's going to follow that similar format. I want to go back to the God Is here for a second and talk about audio. You'll see that if I move my cursor over these, over the teaching resources, it has a little hand up. If I put it over the audio, it doesn't have a hand. Primarily because one of the interesting things that we did with this particular, with our curriculum update, is we included audio spoken word of all the verses. I know a lot of you have been asking if we've had, or if we have like, memory verses to scripture music, or to like scripture music or worship music. That's something that my team and I were currently working on for delivery, like think a year from now. Right now, all that we have available is spoken word, and eventually, once we have this page built, you'll be able to click on audio, and it'll take you to a page where you can select. Right now, we house this spoken word in 3 different stores, music stores, for you to go on and purchase the particular albums according to version, or download individual tracks at your leisure. I'm just going to go ahead and show you right now, because what I want to make clear is that even though that link isn't working right now, you can still go online right now. And I just Googled Mission Grace in Action iTunes, and it was the first thing that came up in my search. And this is actually what it landed on right here in iTunes. So and this right here is for the TNT Mission Grace in Action ESV version. Again, it has 32 tracks. You can download the whole thing for $4.99. Individual tracks 99 cents. So you can really, customize this at your leisure. Do what you'd like. I did have a question of somebody said, well, what about CDs? We're putting it on here because one of the things that we are finding is that people are putting just their digital media and music on their own individual device nowadays. If you are somebody who's like, I live and breathe CDs, by all means, you could add that. You could purchase this through iTunes or through some of the other stores. For instance, here it's on Google Play, and then also it's here on Amazon. On Amazon, you can buy the MP3. You can put whatever media store you house your a majority of your media in. You can make those decisions, but then a majority of these have players built into them where you can burn a CD, or you can use even your own computer's operating system to select tracks and burn them to a CD, and then pop that into your minivan and play it all fall, and allow the or even download these different tracks, and maybe you have a spare iPod laying around the house, and you can just put these on an old iPod and allow your kid to be able to hear the spoken word of the different tracks for to allow your kid to hear the different tracks of the memory verses. Did want to point out that we do have of the different tracks. Every once in a while, you're going to see one that's going to say review, and that's going to be the previous week's, the previous units tracks all together, so that way when they're practicing their review, they can do it all in one sitting. So All that to say that these audio files, they are out there, they are available. You can go to iTunes, you can go to Google Play, you can go to Amazon, and totally purchase these today. Put them on your device, and even if your kids don't even have a handbook right now, they can start memorizing their verses even before they even step into club night. As the year goes on. So do want to make you aware of that, but eventually this audio link down here is going to be live. You'll be able to click on that. It's going to have the different store and the music store badges, so you can make it really easy. Click on go where you need to. Everybody usually tends to lean one way or the other between these three major media distribution sites. So again, if you have any questions on that, you can feel free to contact us. We can definitely get you some more information on that. Again, also want to reiterate that the music files, they are albumed by version, so make sure that you are paying attention to what version you are downloading, as you're making those purchases as well. All right, one of the things that isn't here at the bottom but will be as soon as possible. Actually, before I get to that, let me go ahead and talk about parent pages. So you'll see that there's a coming soon here, but every single lesson we created a parent page, and it looks something like this. So these parent pages, which we refer to as table talks, just to kind of give you the idea that this is the take-home sheet for commanders and Awana ministry leaders. You can, first of all, they're going to be all PDFs. Again, you can download the whole thing, or you can split them up one by one. These are great. You can attach them to an email if you want to send a weekly email out to your parents. You're more than welcome to do that. What we did in terms of the design that I just want to walk you through right now is over here on the left-hand side. We created a schedule because I remember one of the things that, especially if I didn't keep up on it. When my daughter was a cubby and is a Sparky right now, it's kind of like, okay, what verse are we on? What are we doing? So we wanted to put a schedule here of, okay, week 1, God is creator, Revelation 4:11, that's the memory verse. Week 2, God is holy, Revelation 4:8b. In this particular week, this is week 3, so we're talking about God is just. Deuteronomy 32:4 has the memory verse, but in every single one of these parent pages, you're going to have essentially a snapshot of the entire unit of the topic and the memory verse. So this could be a very helpful tool, especially if you want to help parents, kind of get in and navigate through the curriculum and understand kind of where we're at. You'll notice that every single week, the thing that changes is this black box, this black stripe box that goes around, just so that you know what week that we're on. And you can see the corresponding weeks and the memory verse and the topics that are going to be covered. Up here at the top, you're going to have a lesson title, and then we just put in that main idea paragraph. That's the same in the large group teaching guide, the small group guide, the handbook. It's the same right here. So, for instance, that we're going to talk about that God is perfectly just, which means He always gives people what they deserve. The Bible says those who sin deserve death and punishment and hell forever, but God sent His Son Jesus Christ to take our punishment, give us life forever in heaven. Use the following questions below to continue the conversation with your child. So imagine that they just went through this lesson, and they just either hopped in your car, or maybe you're going to go grab some dinner after club, or maybe it's not even that night. Maybe you want to just follow up at another time that's more convenient. Because I know if you're anything like me, sometimes when club ends, it's like they are just zapped, they are tired, they don't want to have a conversation. But I do know that I'm going to have opportunities as a parent later on down the road and later on in the week to have a meaningful conversation about what they learned. And then I can pull this out. Since they're PDFs, I can save them to my device and pull them out whenever's convenient for me. Or I can print it off, stick it in my Bible, whatever I want to do. But for the first question is, what does it mean? What does it mean that God is just? We're going to cover that in the large group teaching time and unpack it in small group. But it's just good to continue that conversation to give you an opportunity to walk and work through your kid about, okay, you just talked about God is just. What does that mean? And then the second question, which I love, is that every question too is going to be an opportunity for you to tell a story. And so here what we're asking you to do is describe a time when you experienced justice as a result of your actions, okay? This is going to be great. I mean, you're going to be able to tell some stories. Maybe it's going to scare you to death. I don't know. But I think our kids, they want to hear our stories. They want to hear how the choices that we've made overlaps with the biblical content that they're learning, and that we could be even a human laboratory for them to work through some of the issues and some of the things that they're learning. So describe what choices you made, how those led to the consequences you received, were you judged fairly, and then why is God the most qualified to judge the entire world? So giving you a little like, hey, I'm going to tee up a story time for you, and then, hey, take it wherever you want to take it. But use it to your advantage. Tell a story. That's a powerful mechanism and that a parent has in terms of discipling their kids. And then we're going to wrap it up at the end in terms of like a much broader, maybe more family-focused type of question, which is, what is something that you see in the world that's unfair? I mean, kids are highly observant. I mean, they see things sometimes that we miss as adults. And so why don't you bring that question before your family? What is something that's unfair in the world? And then I love this. How can God use your family to change this injustice in the world? So really start asking the question, just so that it's not like, okay, check the box, okay, check, you learned that, okay, you said that, all right, that's all. But no, let's have a discussion about this. Let's bring some of these issues into our families. And because, you know, your kids are going to come with some great ideas that are actually going to work, and it's going to be awesome. So I just encourage you to, you know, use these to your advantage. Don't let these find their way into the bottom of your van. These could be powerful tools for you as parents to continue the conversation with your kid, and they're just great also tools for you as TNT directors, you know, commanders, Awana ministry directors, for you to use to keep your parents clued into what's going on throughout the year. Two other components here at the bottom. One, we just wanted to let you know what the Start Here section was all about. So in this case, in the Start Here portion of the God is Just section of the TNT Kids Handbook, your kids were asked to draw or write about something they think is unfair. So a good thing might be for you to think about, okay, what are some things that you think are unfair? And then lastly, we also wanted to include the full blown out version of the memory verse for you, so that you have that, so that you can either work on that with your child, or just have for your own knowledge and for your own benefit. So those are the parent pages. There will be 32 of them. They will be housed in this part of the resource bundle site. And then the last part that I just want to talk about, and then I've talked so much that we're going to turn it over and ask and give you an opportunity to ask some questions. But down here at the bottom, one thing that we do want to note is that there's going to be an extra tab that's going to be that's going to be titled Awana Go Extra Credit Pages. Now, why did we do this? Just clue you in on a little bit of our process here. So we got through some of the development of this book, and then we realized that for everything that we wanted to include it, we actually exceeded our page count. So we needed to buy back some room inside of the book. Well, the place that we decided to do that was with the Awana Go Extra Credit pages. If you go through the kids' handbook, you're going to see, and if you go through the extra credit section, silver and gold sections in the back, you're going to see that some of them are missing. The ones that are missing are the ones that relate to the Awana Go lesson. Those extra credit pages are going to be housed here soon. And all you'll need to do is come here to the TNT Resource Bundle site and then download them, print them off, and just make sure that they find their way into the hands of your kids when they're ready to complete them. If they choose to complete that section of the handbook. But important for you to know that that's there. There are links in the handbook and in the small group leader guide that are going to point them here. So if they type those particular links in, they're going to come right here, have the pages ready for them to download and to complete. That kind of wraps up our time for for all the content that I had to talk about the resource bundle. So I'm just going to turn it over, see if we have any questions right now, and feel free to ask away.
Yeah, thanks, Chris, so much. That was awesome. I know that all the leaders out there are going to be super stoked to have all these great new resources included with their purchase of the leader guides. Like, this is very, very thorough, and very excited about this new stuff. Honestly, there's very few questions from our peanut gallery out there today, which I figure is a good sign. You've done very well with covering all the bases. But one thing I did want to ask is, I've noticed it's only the first 4 units. You mentioned this earlier, and for those that might be scrubbing, back and forth as they're watching this at a later time, when can they expect to have those other units available? By the time they reach Unit 4?
Oh yeah, we are uploading this content as quickly as possible and as quickly as we can. So I would imagine within the next several weeks that we would like to have all the full extent of the content posted and made available. I just don't have a time-specific timeline on that right now to be able to share, but I would imagine within the next couple of weeks we're going to have everything posted up there. It's all done. It's got to go through a process of it getting posted to the web. But like I said, you have the entire first unit to be able to work through right now. By the time you're done with that first unit, absolutely all the other 3 will be made available in the other versions so that you'll have everything that you need. I don't imagine at all that you would be in a position where you won't have this material by the time you get to those specific lessons in a particular club year.
Fantastic. I think that's going to cause a lot of leaders to breathe a sigh of relief, knowing that it's going to be ready for them when they're looking back and preparing for those lessons ahead of time. So that's what we needed to know. That's awesome. I think if I could take a moment here just to pick your brain from your leadership experience, Chris, are there any other ways that you could encourage leaders to engage parents with these materials, especially when it comes to, I know there's been a lot of concern out there about the quantity and the length of responses that are expected, especially from the 3rd graders. Are there any ways that parents can help, or we can encourage them to engage their kids in a greater way with completing their student handbooks?
Yeah, a couple thoughts that I want to share on that. And thanks for asking the question. I think it's a great question. One is I think these parent pages are a good first start. If parents are aware of what's going on in terms of the scope of the curriculum, and I would say email these parent pages or get them into the hands of parents, early and often. Don't make this necessarily the follow-up sheet, but make it the kickoff sheet. So even before your kids show up for lesson 1, the parents would have that lesson 1 parent page in their hands, ready to go, and maybe they've kicked off the conversation and worked with their kids in their books throughout the week. Second thing that I just want to also mention is that we did include something called a bonus box in every single lesson in the handbook, and what we did was every single kid has a start here activity in every single lesson that they need to complete. It asks them to write or draw about something. It's a warm-up activity. The bonus box is flipping that activity on you. It's an optional activity in the handbook, but it's a great opportunity. So if for instance, if I'm going to ask a child, describe for me a time when you were scared, and then write or draw about how you felt when you were scared. The fact that I can then flip that on you as a parent for your kid to then come and ask you, Mom and Dad, can you tell me about a time you were scared? I mean, they are building more and more every single day the framework and the context for how they feel about not only how they interact with the world around them, how they interact with God's Word, and you as a parent need to, you play a vital part in that. It's not just dropping off my kids at Awana and that Awana's going to scrub them clean and then I'm going to pick them back up. No. You are an extremely crucial element to the discipleship process. And the beauty about it is you don't need to go to Bible college. You don't need to be this, just amazing superhero believer. I think in a lot of ways, you just need to show up. You just need to be there, ready to get dirty, to have conversations with your kids, to get messy, to share and open up a little bit about, just your background, some of the things that you experience. And I think what that does is it tends to, just for a child to see that, wow, my mom and dad, I think it helps frame in for them a more realistic image of who they see when they look at you. That, and I think that the most valuable screens that your kids could look at are the 2 eyes that you have. So if you want to talk about it in terms of screen time, you know, you allow them to look into your eyes and to tell them a story and to sit down and just have a meaningful impact in them. I think that's a great thing. You know, Missy, you did talk about, you know, because we did get some comments, and this is the third thing I just want to touch on here is, you know, we had some parents that have said, you know, there's a lot of writing in this book, especially for a third grader. I just want to touch on that for just a brief. This is my response to that: is that third grade is it is such a challenging year. So much changes in third grade, and I think one of the difficult things about third grade is that nobody starts at the same starting line with third grade. It just educationally and developmentally, it's a huge landscape. Not everybody starts at the same starting line or comes with the same developmental skills. What we tried to hit for, I think, was a good, healthy midline, and then to slightly raise the bar there just to make sure that the challenge was there. For those of you leaders who are concerned about the amount of writing that we have in the curriculum, I would encourage you that may be an immediate concern for your third graders, especially for the fall. But I think you're going to see a big difference by the time you get past winter break, where they're going to be really honing in their educational spaces some of those advanced skills, some of those more complex handwriting skills. They're going to be diving into more sentence structure, grammar. You know, I think that they're going to have a little bit more of a more solid foundation. I say all that to say is that you may need to hold their hand a little bit for some kids, not all kids, but some of them. You may need to work closely with them, but I would just encourage you to see that since third grade is such a transitional year, that by the time that they get past Christmas, I mean, there's just so much that changes in the life of a child in third grade, both educationally and instructionally, that I think that you're going to see a real difference. So at the beginning, it may seem like a lot of handwriting. I think by midpoint of the year and beyond, it's not going to be that much necessarily handwriting to them as they get more comfortable and develop and acquire the skills. So just three things right there, just answer your question, but I think all good things that you could do, anything you could do to work with your child, to be invested in their discipleship experience, you're never going to go wrong with those, and I just encourage you to do them.
Man, that is so awesome. Not only is it encouraging as a leader that's working with these kids, but as a parent, like, wow, you know, that's fantastic. Very excited for what this next club year is going to bring with this new curriculum, man. In light of that, knowing that a lot of clubs are starting up in the next week or two, do you have any final parting words of encouragement for those clubs that are just beginning, and maybe some tips on how to start in with the Start Zone? Any thoughts on your mind before we wrap?
Sure. Just to wrap it up, like we started this whole webinar series out. You guys are my heroes. You guys are right there in the trenches. You're the ones showing up, loving on kids. Sharing the gospel with them, spending time with them, discipling them. I mean, you're the ones rushing from work and traffic, trying to eat something on the way, running out of the car, racing through the parking lot, throwing a shirt on, jumping into a game circle, spending time in a small group. I can't say thank you enough for what you do, and thank you for just your commitment to the kingdom. So I would just encourage you. I am totally excited for what God is going to do in your clubs. This coming year, the conversations that you're going to have around the curriculum, the large group experiences that your kids are going to have, and just the experience that they're going to have in the handbooks themselves. We have heard a lot of positive feedback. And honestly, on the other hand, we have a lot to continue to think about. So as you're going through this, and if you have thoughts or things that would be good for us to know, I invite you to speak up. Share those with us. We do take them seriously. Our team does review those particular things or different comments or suggestions that you bring in, and that goes all into our calculus for how we approach future development of curriculum. So be a part of this with us and share your experience with us as you continue to go throughout the club year. Last thought in terms of Start Zone, you're going to have some kids that are going to just blow through the Start Zone. They're going to own it like in 30 seconds. Just because maybe that's the type of caliber of kids that they are. I would encourage you, for those kids that maybe blow through the start zone really quickly, encourage them to turn around and help maybe some of the other kids who don't understand it. Encourage your kids to do some peer-to-peer discipleship. It doesn't always have to be the leader all the time saying everything. Encourage your either more advanced or faster working kids to get engaged into the process with you. It's okay for you as the leader to step back and not own everything all the time. Give them space to lead some of their peers and their friends through the gospel. Because the beauty is that they're going to get confident in it, they're going to get comfortable with it, and then they're going to continue doing it over the long haul. So as you guys engage in the start zone, for you guys as leaders, you know what? Don't be afraid to step out of the driver's seat and invite some of your kids who know their stuff to get in there and essentially test out their skills at the same time. So I'm totally pumped and excited about what you guys are going to be able to do and experience this year. I want to be in all of your clubs at the same time simultaneously, but I know that I can't. So I need you to send me stories, send me pictures, send me just different things that you experience. Honestly, if you have critical comments, send me those too. Love to hear them. I want to be able to hear and respond to as much as possible. Thank you for what you do. God bless you. You guys are awesome.
Awesome. Thanks again, Chris. And I hope the summer was really refreshing for all of those that were on break from club, and that the excitement is building for everybody and back to club time. Again, thanks for those last parting words of wisdom until our next episode of the TNT webinars, which will be in 2 weeks from now. Before we close for today, I just wanted to scroll down and give you some next steps for how to follow up. As Chris said, we're there for you. We want to hear from you. If you have questions, if you want to share your stories, share some encouragement to us as well about how club is going for you in the beginning of the club year, please email us at ttupdate@awana.org, or you can always call our customer care team, and that is available for you. That phone number is available for you on our website as well. Again, thanks so much for showing up today. We are so appreciative of all that you do for leadership in TNT Club. Thanks again so much, and we'll talk to you soon.